Back to the Old Testament now. Deuteronomy 28. Deuteronomy 28. And we're going to pick it up at verse 15. So you can be dead while you live. That's what Ezekiel saw. Because the whole nation is not physically dead. But the whole nation is dead while they live. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. We're going to show you where this dead people is. The predicament of death that they got themselves in. 28 and 15. Go ahead.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Now, people don't want to acknowledge that God has the power to curse. Everybody want to talk about being blessed and highly favored, which is good. That's what we need to seek for, but we need to seek for it, and if it's a possibility for us to attain being blessed and highly favored, which you have to do his will, then it's a possibility for you to be cursed and downgraded then, right? Mm-hmm. And not highly favored, right? Lowly esteemed, right? It got to be a possibility, or else what's the benefit in being blessed then? It's only a benefit if it's opposite somebody else being cursed. So, but we don't want to talk about that. We want to put our head in the sand like that don't exist. But the Bible is giving you reality. And that's exactly what he did to his people Israel. He cursed Israel. That's a part of their death. They died, didn't want to serve the Lord, and he put them under divine curse for the duration. And that's why he was asking Ezekiel, can these bones live? But now, so he said, if thou would not hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses, I wish the preacher tell their neighbor that sometime. Tell them to tell you that all these curses, neighbor, gonna come on you. They always talk about something else, right? You can be cursed too, right? See, that show you is predicated on your actions. He said, all these curses going to come upon you and overtake you, and that's exactly what has happened to Israel, this people that's dead. Skip down to verse 25. Let's look at the main ingredient of the curse. Verse 25, go ahead.
The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies.
See, he didn't say the white man or some other man, the European man. Who he said did it? The Lord did it. The Lord shall cause you to be smitten before your enemy. It comes from the Lord. See, that's what I haven't heard the preacher in Hammond mention, that, hey, yeah, all this happened and it's wrong that people done it, but ultimately it came from the Lord because he had to allow it. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before your enemies. Go ahead.
Thou shalt go out one way against them
and
flee 7 ways before them.
See, he said you're going to go out one way fighting and you're going to end up running 7 ways. Go ahead. But ultimately, what's going to happen to you?
It shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth.
And ultimately, you're going to be removed. Some Bibles, they new translation, you got to watch them. They'll change this, put some other word in here. But that's okay. It's too many other places where he tell you this too. But this means what it say. Remove means somebody going to remove you from where you at, and where they going to remove you to? He said, into all the kingdoms of the world. See, this is where Israel is dead at now. See, Israel, God wasn't going to let them stay dead in the promised land. He said, you done died up in here on me. You got to get out of here. You done messed around and died on me. You got to go. So he said, you shall be removed into all the kingdoms. Israel wasn't meant to migrate nowhere. They was meant to become and taken into slavery, servitude everywhere. Skip down now to verse 45. Because again, this is a divine curse from God, nobody else. Go ahead.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon
See,
thee.
he named a bunch of curses. We don't have time to read these today. We got other lessons we deal with them more in depth. But he named other curses where you're going to have wives and the master going to just come sleep with them. You're going to build houses and somebody else going to inhabit the house. You're going to pick cotton, or we said plant vineyards, which fit picking cotton and all that, sharecropping, and somebody else is going to benefit from it. He gave you all that. We didn't skip. We didn't read all that because we really just focusing on showing you the predicament of this dead people. That still, out of all this, you got to keep in the back of your mind, we are about to rise. That shows you how magnificent God is. He can bring you back. We know he's awesome. He can bring the physical dead back, but he can bring a whole nation that have died, and that he have scattered all over the world. He can bring them back and make them a great nation again. Even his people to show other people about him. So he said in verse 45, moreover, all these curses, again, we ain't talking blessings. Verse 1 through 14 talks about blessings. That's good. That's fine and good. But we need to read the other side of the coin sometime too. All these curses come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till what?
Till thou be destroyed.
Till you be destroyed. There go that big word again. We read that earlier, right? He said somewhere else, he said, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. We don't want to serve God right. He said, you are destroyed yourself. We read it in Hosea where he said, Israel, you have destroyed yourself. But he left you a little glimmer of hope, didn't he? He said, but in me is your help, didn't he? But you destroyed. That's a big word. See, but you have to understand the way God's terminology is. That's why he said you destroyed, but in me is your help. Therefore, that destroyed didn't mean totally wiped off the map, right? It could mean wiped off the map if in me is your help. It could mean the whole nation physically died when he said they died, but they sinned more and more. See, they dead, but we are the living dead. And as long as we the living dead, that means it's a possibility we can be brought back to life. See, and that's what God intended to do. That's the only reason we the living dead. Other than that, he would have wiped us out a long time ago. We should have been gone. That's why he said here, all these curses shall overtake thee till thou be destroyed. Now, if you don't know no other scripture, you might say, see, Israel destroyed. They don't matter no more. He destroyed Israel. He's not thinking about them no more. No, you got to understand other scriptures. Go ahead, finish that verse.
Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Oh, that's the reason, though. Go ahead.
To keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee.
See, because you hearken not. That's the reason. You can't blame nothing else. You can't blame no people. You can't even blame some of your physical actions. Like, we don't shop with one another enough. Look, first of all, we ain't got no stores. But the bottom line is, the reason why you destroyed is because you didn't obey God, right? You hearken not unto the voice of the Lord thy God to keep his commandments. Now keep your finger here because we're going to see what destroyed means. We're going to see how, when you have understanding, you don't go too far with destroyed. Because destroyed could mean that somebody annihilated and that's the end of it. But we're going to see what he mean by that. We're going to come right back. Hold your finger in Deuteronomy 28. Go to Amos 9. We're going to come right back. You can put something in Deuteronomy 28. Amos 9 and verse 8. Because he said in Deuteronomy 28 verse 45, he said, all these curses going to come on you. They're going to pursue you. They're going to overtake you until thou be destroyed. See, we destroyed as a people. We died spiritually, and God said, that's the end of it. You are destroyed. That's like I said. We don't even know who we are no more. Amos 9 and verse 8. We don't have a clue who we are, where we came from. You don't get no more perfectly destroyed than that. That's why our predicament is so bad. That's why the preacher in Hammond is talking about, look, this is wrong what the men done. Won't nobody say nothing. He said he having a war on racism. He said, I'm probably going to lose some members, but I don't care. He ain't lying either. He going to lose some members. Some of them are already talking like, well, he kind of right, but I still don't like, because he was even saying, look, you want to talk about all the condition they in, but you don't want to look at the reason how they got in this condition.